Schuler.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's strange the Lakers let him go. Obviously, it seems strange in the time because they could have kept him if Randall was amenable. I mean, he was a restricted free agent, and they just let him go.
Yeah,
so that was,
and the way they played him was strange too.
It was
like
real
they were
bizarre.
They tried to audition him for a trade, and then did just the opposite. But let's get to our next question, anyways. Feeling Minnesota asks, do the Lakers ever peek at the Nets box scores and wonder if letting D'Angelo Russell go was a mistake, or do they know but are hoping that LeBron keeps attention elsewhere?
He's a snitch. He had to go.
Well played, Feeling Minnesota.
Yeah, because they can read
playing off of Sam's question.
Don't explain the joke, boys.
D'Angelo. I mean,
there's enough of it.
When you're not reading it, I don't feel like it comes across as well.
Audibly stated twice.
So D'Angelo Russell, again, what they traded him for Josh Hart? Is that Josh Hart and Mozgov? Was that the...
Yeah.
It was
exactly right.
Well, and there was a pick involved too, correct?
I think it was D'Angelo Russell and Mozgov for that in the 25th pick.
Right.
The Lakers pick, which then became... I gotta make sure I get this exactly right because all of our.
Now, even though I'm like the token don't love Randall as much as everybody guy, I still think Randall is. I'd rather have Randall than D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah. Me too.
I think D'Angelo Russell is one of the emptiest stats guys in the league. I think I think his stats. I think when D'Angelo Russell is getting you stats, that's bad.
Mm.
You should hope that someone with more efficiency is doing the work.
Okay, so obviously the trade was all of our big market listeners yelling at us. There's Brooke Lopez and D'Angelo Russell for Mozgov and
pick. Right,
I'm saying it wrong. Mozgov and D'Angelo Russell to the Nets for Brooke Lopez, D'Angelo Russell, and then they got the 27th pick, which ended up being Kyle Kuzma.
Yes.
So the question being, if you're the Lakers, would you rather have Kuzma or D'Angelo Russell? I would rather have Kuzma
on this team with LeBron. 100%.
And I'd rather have Kuzma than Randall as well, long term, I think.
That one I don't know.
Even though Kuzma was so bad last night.
In this situation, they didn't have. That wasn't a choice.
Right.
They could have had both.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell is having a great offensive season. He's on a really hot stretch offensively. Still, I'm not sure what his long-term kind of position is. Like he's like a Lou Williams, I think.
Ron Butler,
obviously. Is he a starter on a playoff team? Probably not. But he is an elite offensive talent, and getting those 3-pointers from the guard position is real important in the NBA. So,
Chuck, if I told you that out of the Nick Young, D'Angelo Russell thing, Nick Young would be the one blackballed from the NBA, would you have ever thought that would be the case?
Man, I thought there was a code. I thought people, kept to that. You can't snitch. You can't let all that information that's privy to the locker room.
He got traded to a team that plays him all the time.
I know.
They should have traded him to the Jazz or something. Make him pay, but no.
Why is that punishment?
Not at all.
It's
Utah.
Speaking of not Brooklyn.
Speaking of Nick Young, he tweeted something like, "Y'all got to quit living in 2017." His Twitter avatar is him on the Warriors.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, he should live there.
A little lack of self-awareness.
That's when he was
anyway,
at his peak.
Those were
Could
questions.
be worse. I think my Twitter and Facebook pictures are 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's consistency. That's
Svelte.
brand.
Svelte.
That's brand, John.
My Facebook profile only gets changed whenever I do something terrible.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then it's a picture of me and my son.
Absolutely. And then we comment on it, and then your mom gets mad.
Then my mom threatens John with IRA car bombs.
Those were questions submitted by our listeners, our Patreon supporters specifically. If you want to submit your own question, you got to become a Patreon supporter. You do that by going to patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. Not only can you submit questions, you can join the Pick'em, where we pick games against the spread for monthly prizes. You also can join the Slack chat, where John, Chuck, and myself hang out with our most faithful listeners and supporters, and we talk about everything around the clock. And if you step on up to that $5 tier, you get extra bonus episodes, like 2 a month or so of bonus episodes, the Ground Chuck episodes, John's review of the NBA jerseys with designer Austin Gray.
Hamming away with Austin Gray.
All kinds of good stuff. And so if you want to support our show, the best way to do that is by going to patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. If you listen to 3 episodes a month, you owe us $1. Okay.
Hey, just do it.
Steak and eggs. Best thing. What's the best thing you saw?
You brought him up earlier, but you know,
Odd Job?
sort of. Mario has Odd Job. The step over heard around the world. Mario Hezonja yamming on Giannis Antetokounmpo.
It's kind of,
and then teabagging him.
Also, and then after the game, doing a quote like, "If you have fear, this place is no place for you. You can't play this game if you're scared."
yeah, I'm sure that
Hezonja had 2 points.
I wish he
one dunk.
But man, 2 points and 2 balls on the Greek Freak's head.
Yeah,
it's a lot of balls. That's a pretty
Not
good
many-
ball.
not
Who's going to remember that
ratio.
box score besides you, Keith?
not many guys get to live their lives that way.
Whew. Do you guys... I mean, I know what you're going to yell in my face. Do you guys think it was purposeful?
Yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah.
kind of seemed like he was in a fugue state, like, I can't believe that just happened. Like, he kind of seemed like... I watched it a million times, and finally I see him sort of glance down at him, so I also think it was purposeful, but he wasn't like a very... Like, if I had stepped over him, I would have dragged the nards over, made him smell it, et cetera, et cetera. He does it, like, he starts doing it, and then he's like, ooh, I better hurry. And then he doesn't, like, turn around and wave his arms. He, like shell-shockedly runs up the court, sort of yammering to his teammates, but not really.
It was kind of like an accidental dunk, though. I don't think he didn't take off on the.
Giannis almost got him.
He almost got him, and he dunked on him, kind of like, "Oh wow, I dunked on him! Wow."
Yeah, he was so shocked.
Super surprised.
He didn't dunk over him. It was like, my memory of it was Hezonja was dunking, and then at the last second,
Yes.
Antetokounmpo like
Showed
slides in
up.
under him, and so
Almost got him.
Yeah.
which is like legit.
It was a very James Worthy, Clyde Drexler dunk type thing. It was just, you know, the beautiful, both teams running end to end, guys flying at the hoop. The type of basketball that I miss quite a bit.
So my best thing is related to maybe the type of
I'm
basketball.
going to punch you in the nut.
Well, you say like the type of basketball that you miss. Type of basketball I really like.
Mhm.
Getting steals, getting blocks. That kind of dirty, that kind of scrappy, dirty Tony Allen play. Our Tennessee State boy, Bob Covington.
Bobby Covington's.
Not only getting steals and blocks, he's like if Tony Allen could shoot. Robert Covington.
Trade's working out.
The trade's working out great.
Trade's working out for the Timberwolves.
for the Timberwolves.
I guess for both teams.
I mean, yeah. I think so. But Robert Covington has been amazing outside of that historic 1 for 18 when he still got 6 combined steals and blocks.
Very special.
Since that 1 for 18 game, Robert Covington is averaging 18.4 points per game and 7.6 rebounds, 2.2 steals, 1.4 blocks. He's shooting 55% from the field, 34%. That's not right. 43% from 3.
What?
So, like, this is a guy who was like a volume chucker on the Sixers. The Sixers fans loved him. I mean, to their credit, they adored Robert Covington. But, like, he was hot and cold, you know, running these big streaks. Maybe this is just one of his streaks. But not only that, he's shooting well in the last 5 games. But since the trade, the Wolves went from the worst defensive team in the league to now they have the second best teams of rating since the trade. And then according to, this is from Justin Fan, Covington is number 2 in deflections per game, number 1 in steals. He's 16th in blocks. That's awesome.
It's almost as if they went from a guy who was actively sabotaging the team to one of the better defensive players in the league.
Opponents shoot 9.8% worse when guarded by him. So, like, Robert Covington, legit Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and just the Wolves are great since the trade, and a lot of it based on Robert Covington, who like years ago, one of the questions I would bring up, like, is Robert Covington a product of just getting unbelievable opportunity on the process Sixers? He's just getting 35 minutes per game, no matter what he does.
Yeah, looter in a riot.
Yeah. So is he?
You brought up Tony Allen before, and I think Robert Covington is like Tony Allen in a lot of ways, because you can watch Robert Covington for one game, and be like, that player
is bad,
is terrible.
Yeah.
But if you talk to people who watch the Sixers a lot, they will tell you that what he brings to the game is actually very good for the team, especially over time. But he's just and you could totally watch Tony Allen and think Tony Allen is so awful
for a quarter or two and be like, wow.
But he's one of those guys who like really makes a team to play better defensively.
Well, Tony Allen is even more enigmatic because I know people can sit and watch every single Grizzlies game and still thought he was bad. So, like, that's... Yeah. I think Covington, at least, if you watch every single Sixers...
Those people are Republicans, Keith.
If you watch every single Sixers or Wolves game, you will see every 3 games where you're like, oh, that's why this guy just keeps indiscriminately chucking. But again, he's been on fire.
They both can be so lame-brained offensively. Like, it's like, what's even happening?
Chuck, what's your steak and eggs?
My best thing, first of all, the Miami Heat play the Phoenix Suns in a couple days, which is a big game for us because
you might win a game.
Team you might beat.
We might actually beat, even though you guys hive mind. Well, we did have a couple quality wins. Account. We beat the Pelicans this week. Who are in disarray.
You know why you won?
That's why Moore got hurt.
Well, no, they packed up the Vice City jerseys.
Oh yeah, we're not playing with them.
This is the worst season ever.
I know. It doesn't make sense.
It was a scheduled Vice night,
and they were like, "Nah, I didn't know that." And for real?
Yeah, for real.
They believe they're haunted.
They
apparently are.
They were 0-7 in those jerseys, and it was a scheduled Vice night,
and they cut it.
We can't wear them.
Oh, that's serious.
Dwayne Wade leadership decision.
Yeah, but with the Miami Heat playing the Phoenix Suns this week, it took me to their record. And the wonderful Phoenix Suns now sitting at a beautiful 4-20.
That's amazing.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite crappy team record.
Do they average 69 shots a game?
No.
Trying to think of what's
Devin Booker probably averages 69 shots every 2 games.
What's a feasible? Yeah,
I feel like that was real.
Did they end up scoring 69 points against the Kings the other day?
Oh,
they were down 59-16, 49-16.
As gruesome as basketball can be.
It was a Alabama college football score.
Yeah,
at one point.
Great, Bob.
Yeah,
36-9 after the first.
3-6-9. Damn, she fine.
That ain't great.
That get low.
But hey, DeAndre Ayton looks pretty good.
Yeah,
he does.
Darren Collison did shatter his ankles.
Oh,
you see that crossover?
Was like 2 weeks ago. Darren Collison
this week
made DeAndre Ayton fall down, and it made me feel bad about Ayton's long-term prospects. I don't feel like he should have got crossed up that hard.
No, not by
it was a
Collison.
Pretty basic move.
Is that the lesser Collison?
It's oriented by an ant in the afterbirth. There's just a huge size disparity there. It's not that bad.
No.
Let's move on to our cream of wheat, the opposite of steak and eggs. The cream of wheat worst thing. What's the worst thing you saw? I'll go. The San Antonio Spurs are abysmal. They are a train wreck. I should have pulled the stat up.
Too much Rudy Gay.
They had lost. Had lost by 30 points.
It had been
3 times
years. Yeah.
In like the last 18 years. They lost by 30 points 3 times in the last 5 games.
Yeah.
I am worried about the Spurs. Their defense over the last 10 games, worst in the NBA by a large stretch. Their net rating is alongside the likes of the Phoenix Suns. It is not great. Like, DeMar DeRozan was playing so well, but I don't know if it's finally caught up to him. The not having any good point guards, the recycling Grizzlies cast-offs with Dante Cunningham, Rudy Gay, Pau Gasol, and Quincy Pondexter. Those were not guys I missed when they left. Like, I am worried about the Spurs. Like
Dante Cunningham getting starter minutes at some point.
I mean, I feel like I said last week, I think the Spurs are out of the playoffs. I think a week later, I'm very like, they don't have a shot.
So where do you think, what does this mean for Pop?
I think Pop is checked out, man.
It feels that way.
He was talking about how much he hates 3-pointers, even though they won NBA Finals because they shot 3-pointers better than everybody else.
The only games they win is like when Bryn Forbes hits threes.
He was like sick of Danny Green. He just gave away Danny Green for nothing.
Yeah.
Danny Green, again,
Ballin'.
like this is a guy who we've mentioned before. Does he look good because he's in the Spurs system? Like, will he look as good? He looks better on the Raptors.
Nick Nurse is using him incredibly
Kawhi
well.
Leonard looks just as good as ever.
Danny Green is a roller coaster.
Well,
he is.
He's
very streaky, but seasonally streaky.
He's less of a roller coaster now. I feel like he's playing
Well, he just had like
sustained really good minutes.
the past